dude, but yeah. Pep was like, we got.
How much are these?
15, sorry.
It's alright.
Peppy was like,
This one's Hazel, honey.
yeah, that's a good one.
I like the first one. Is that okay?
Sure, get Hazel.
Her name's Hazel.
I
like
named her.
What's that?
I named her. My record. Yeah, Pep was
I'm
like,
so excited about this.
yeah, dude. Pep was like, dude, we gotta print these, dude. We have to. And I was like, it's too much. I'm the one, dude. I'm always the one that needs talked into that stuff, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's, dude, Pete
That's a
talked
very
to me.
reasonable price.
Pete talked to me in the studio. I was like, no, we record in our basement. Everything's fine the way it is, Pete. Like, dude, I'm a stick in the mud, man, when it comes to actual production.
Beautiful. I think it's wonderful. And guess what? To me, I think to a lot of people, there's something about vinyl that you listen to it differently. It's non-disposable. It's, you know what I mean?
You gotta
it's like
look at the tracks.
It's a telegram versus a phone call. You
Flip
know what I
it
mean?
over.
It's like a, you know?
But hey, dudes, so that's me talking to Colin and Katie Ann. We're just screwing around. I just
Oh
did
shit!
You're good.
He's always recording.
I'm recording every time I do things.
You ruined everything.
But anyways, Katie Ann. So I'm gonna come at this talking about your music.
That's pop.
K808.
There's a royal army in this town. When the river rises, they scratch and claw to bring you down. Cinderella locked out of the ball. The higher up the stairs you go, the more they kill to see you fall. So take my picture off the wall. No, I never thought it would, but it's done no good at all. I come around and heads will roll, and it's clear everyone here has grown so cold, like I'm too hot to hold.
Indie pop. Can I call it that? Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
And the album, Worth Every Cent?
Time.
Dime. Worth Every Dime. This is awesome for Youngstown.
Thanks.
There's just no one doing this exactly.
Yeah.
So, what do you have to say? Like, did you have that in mind when you're coming out with it, as you come from kind of folk acoustic background?
Well, actually, it's sort of weird because I come from a pop background. Like,
So it was pop originally.
I grew up loving the Spice Girls
Me
and
too.
everything they did. And I always wanted to be Baby Spice. That was just it, you know, like
She was my favorite by
yeah,
far.
she was so the favorite. She still is.
She's awesome.
I wished her a happy birthday on Twitter last week. She didn't answer. Happy birthday, Mom. But I actually grew up listening to pop music, the Britney Spears, the NSYNC, so it was just sort of my thing. And I always knew, I dressed up as Baby Spice for career day in 3rd grade. It was just always what there was never a doubt in my mind that I wasn't, I was always going to do this.
I thought you were going to say Halloween for sure. That makes it so much better that it was career day.
Career day. I did sorry, I'm eating an ice cream.
You're fine.
I wrote a report and everything about how I was going to be a Spice Girl. And as I grew up, I sort of just, almost like I was a robot or something. I was about 15, well, I started taking voice lessons when I was 9. And I started doing shows so I could be in front of people and on stage. And then around the time I was 15, I started writing songs. I was like, it's as good a time as any. I'll just start writing, see what I come up with. And I loved it, and it helped me so much. And then I had no way. I didn't play. I'd taken a little bit of piano and stuff, but I didn't play any instruments well. So around the time I was 18, I was like, I should probably start playing the guitar. So I picked up the guitar, and I, was thankful for the internet because it helped me learn. And then I decided it was time for me to start playing. Like, I've been on stage, I've been writing my songs, but I've never done my songs on stage. So I started doing that and just getting comfortable with it. And that's so great about Youngstown, as you're talking to Colin about that, is that I was just able to go out and practice and, you know, because my songs are always really personal. Like, it's like, I treated it as my diary when I was younger, you know, it was always, these boys are horrible to me, and, so it was a big step, and I was so nervous, I actually didn't even play the guitar at my first few shows. I had one of my friends do it for me, because I was like, I'm gonna fall over, I was so nervous. But it's always been leading up to, ultimately, you know, when I made my first EP, it was because I made it acoustic because I just wanted my songs to speak for themselves and to show that I could write and to show that I could sing. And that was it. I wanted it to be really simple.
And what was that EP called?
That one was called What I Wanted. That was the What I Wanted EP.
What I Wanted.
I did that at Pete's, yeah. And, give me a second just to...
We're eating ice cream, guys.
You'll just cut it out, right?
So good. No. This is the best part of the stuff. Like.
Okay, so my treat is gone. I'm ready to talk now. Let's work.
You want another treat?
I'll have another treat. I'm just kidding. So I just wanted that to speak for itself, and I wanted to keep, you know, making friends and practicing and getting better. Ultimately knowing that what I wanted to do is this pop stuff. But I didn't expect it to happen the way that it did, because with the What I Wanted EP, I started calling LA. I started calling some managers and people that just did consultations, like that you Google it and find people that'll take $50 from you and talk to you on the phone for a half hour, and they'll tell you honestly what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right, you know, what your next step should be, and they'll just, you know, talk your ear off if you'd like. So I did that, and everyone that I talked to was really supportive, but they said, you know, you need a producer. If this is what you say you want to sound like a pop artist, this sounds acoustic. And at this climate of the music industry, nobody has an imagination to hear Henry. No one hears your voice and says, "Oh, I can hear this, and let's hook her up with this person." And you know, they sort of want you to do all the work for them.
Sure.
So they said, hire a producer, call a guy, find someone. Well, we're in Youngstown, and there's nobody that does that, really. That and I knew how I wanted it to sound in my head. It was there, but I didn't know how to execute it, and I couldn't afford to just, I mean, you know, it's expensive, and I couldn't afford to just pay somebody until they got it right, you know? So I just figured it was worth a try to at least get a demo done, so I can maybe take it to a producer and have them fix it or finish it, or, you know, do some more things. So I downloaded Reason and Logic. And I just started watching YouTube videos and tinkering around with it, and I loved it so much. I had so much fun with it. And I did not expect that at all, because I always just wanted to be a Spice Girl. That was all I wanted to do, you know? But out of Youngstown, I was forced to just learn something new, and I just love it so much, and I have so much fun, you know? It's a blast. So that's what the journey of it.
So the beginning goal was to do something that you're doing now. It was like you started, it was kind of like you just vocal guitar was you laying like blueprint for like, here's this real raw song.
Right.
But essentially I'm going for pop.
Yeah, I mean,
like
that's always what it was, because my influences were always pop. And when I started learning the guitar, obviously, I mean, I loved Alanis Morissette when I was growing up too. But I really got into her lyrics, and I studied her and Bob Dylan and people like that when I was writing, when I first started writing, just so I wouldn't get stuck in that pop, you know, just, I wanted to have a little bit of substance still, and I didn't want to get stuck writing something I wasn't proud of in 2 years. So I did a lot of studying that stuff. And I think that I got into the folk thing because I started working at the music store, and Robbie and the guys had their alt country band, and they just, I had no idea what that stuff was, and I loved it. I had so much fun doing that. So that kind of got me, I veered that way a little bit, and I still love it, and that's why I call it and I do our Wren Rooster stuff. Is so we have an outlet for that too, but my love has always been pop music, and I think that it's indie pop and alt pop because I hang around college so much.
Yeah, sure.
That he makes me a little cooler.
Right.
But yeah, it's always just, that's been the plan. I've never had any other backup plan, you know.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I know that when I was at a house show with you recently here, you kind of illustrated that there was a pop song on Worth Every Dime that you initially had done in a folk way, if I have that right, and then you and Colin performed it for Priska.
Or
is it not on that album?
That one's on a Wren Rooster.
Oh, okay.
No. Oh, this
Yeah.
is a fun story.
Yeah.
It was one song, and it was going to be on my pop record,
Okay.
and it is on my pop record. It's called Blow Away.
I've got a bag of bones and just a bag of clothes. It's more than we need. I know I'll never outgrow you. Pick up your head, my love. You've always been enough. I know that times get rough. I'll never disown you. Don't you know about the stars? They spelled out our name. You gave me your heart, and we'll never be the same. You lit a fire, and baby I'm a flame. I know the wind will blow, but I won't blow away. I won't blow away. Let the sunshine, let the rain fall. I know you're fine. I know we got it all. Let the sunshine, let the rain fall. I know you're fine. I know you got my faith.
And it's this pretty love song about, you know, you don't have money, everything's wrong, but you have someone that you love, and that's okay. Like, you're happy, you're not going anywhere. You know, you can have a bad day and it's fine. But I had this chorus, and this is sort of what I took from learning, paying attention to lyrics, is I write and write and write, and then I have to subtract things. You know what I mean? So that it fits into the pop mold.
Yeah.
I have to simplify it. But I had this beautiful chorus that was so fucking wordy. I'm sorry, it was
You're fine.
so wordy.
No,
And I couldn't use it in this song. There was no way it was gonna fit, but I thought it was beautiful and I liked the sentiment. So Colin was having a rough week, and it's on covered right there. I just wrote it in a little
yes,
card
that's
for
right.
him.
Yeah.
And I gave it to him. And I just figured he could just have it, and it would help him get through, you know, the week. And he instantly got up, grabbed his guitar, and started singing a waltz. And he just started singing those lyrics, and that became a Wren Rooster song. So they came from the same song, but it's like my pop, and then I have a...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's...
Is there Wren Rooster stuff that's recorded
We record-
online?
Yeah, we recorded that stuff with Pete.
I want you to know you can lose your head. You can lose your house. You can lose your
Okay. And we're just sort of deciding whether we want to write some more songs, or we have 4 songs finished. We just don't know if we
They're
want...
not like up anywhere, are they?
They
Other than
exist
video
somewhere.
or-
We have a website, but
Oh, do
we
you?
don't do
Okay.
too much with it yet.
I didn't realize. That's cool. That,
Yeah,
that they're
like
there.
they're there. I'm sure we could find
It's not
one.
actually up yet. It's online, but it's not linked anymore.
Oh,
Okay.
took it down?
But it's there. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
So you got recordings of K808s, you got recordings of Wren Rooster and K808s.
Yes.
So, and in your head, it's not that you made some big departure.
No.
It's not that you're like, I'm coming back and transform. It's just
No.
like, this is a combination.
The folk
Yeah.
music, the Americana acoustic thing, was much more of a departure for me than
Yeah.
than this pop music. I
Right.
finally feel like I'm in my element. Like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm so happy that I'm real excited that I was forced to learn how to do it, because I feel like I take so much more pride in it than I feel like I otherwise would. And I also, as a girl, it's, there's something to be said about there aren't any girl producers or engineers. There really aren't very many of us. And I remember I was banging my head against the wall after I talked to that guy, because I was like, I can't just afford to do this, and I refuse to accept that that's the only way. There's got to be another way to do it. And I had not even thought for a second that I could do it myself, because the word producer is so associated with man. You know what I mean?
It is, unfortunately.
And I didn't even think about it. And so I was like a mess. I was so upset. I didn't know what I was going to do. And Colin was like, what really hurts my feelings over the fact that you're so upset is that you didn't even think for 1 second that you could do it yourself. And that was all I needed to hear. And I was like, I'm going to do it! And that's it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My brother Jack, he not in third class so much, but in other walks or when he demos stuff he writes, or when he does his other act is called Juche, he still now applies Reason to that. He loves Reason.
Reason's fun as hell.
And he really has a good time with it. It's not quite like, it's not pop, but it's I'm sure he's had a lot of the same experiences you have, where he's gotten a beat, he's pulled a bunch of stuff out, added a bunch of stuff back in, just tinkered and tinkered and tinkered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was so overwhelming when I first opened the programs, because have you ever looked inside of
I'm not
Reason?
very good at it. I'm not very good at it.
Well, because it's scary and it's intimidating, and Reason is not the project. Like, it's not the digital audio workspace that you want, that you should ever stare with, because it's all. I thought it would be cool because it's set up like hard boxes. It's like, they have wires that you can mess around with. So I thought, it's a visual thing. I'll just, But I opened it and it was just so overwhelming at first. But I watched YouTube videos. There was this YouTube video, and it was by this guy called Boy in a Band, and it was how to make a pop song in 7 days. And it just one by one was like, here's how to draw in your drum beats. Here's how to put a bass on it. Then you'll want to do backing vocals and come up with a hook, or you know what I mean? Oh my God, what kind is that?
Hot pretzel.
Yeah.
Oh man, they're feeding me so much here. This is awesome. Thank you. Well, I like that you're saying that you read the stuff about, because, okay, you remind me of my brother Jack because he is inclined to just like tinker till he gets it. But B, you kind of make me think of my mom, because she's one of those people that first it worked for her. It doesn't work for everybody, but before having us and before everything, she read a how-to on. She's like, how to have kids.
Yep, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
That's all
and
you
it
got
totally
to do.
worked for her.
Yeah.
And like, I like that you're saying that you did that. You were like, I want to do it. I'm going to read this on how to do it. Make a phone call, do that, because it's very different from a lot of the weird ragtag stories of Youngstown people. Just like totally rolling, like, just falling backwards into it, or not into anything like falling into fame necessarily, but falling into being creative.
Yeah.
I like that you were a focused person. Being a focused person and an artist are two qualities that you don't find in one person very often. That's good.
Well, I just feel like I've never found anything else that I like to do other than be on stage and write songs and make music. I enjoy acting, but very early on I decided that wasn't where I was going to focus things, and I never play sports. You know, I don't have any other real passions other than maybe like cats or something. There was never any fallback plan for me, and so that's what makes me so focused, is the fact that if I don't figure out how to do things and just do them, I'm gonna not have money when I'm older. You know, like I need to. People make their livings making music. They started being a baby, like I started being a baby, and they picked their journey, like you know, and so that's just what keeps me going, is the fact that you have to start somewhere, so just start.
We're like a horse on a merry-go-round, going in circles up and then down. How long do we stay? Pretend it's okay. We're only going nowhere now. When it was good, we thought it'd only get better, but we forgot nothing lasts forever. And I don't wanna be nothing to you, but I don't think we belong together. Tonight is ringing heartache.
I like playing myself and doing fake cheesy home movie
Yeah, I
acting.
know you do.
Yeah.
You're good
And
at
so
it too.
sometimes when we have friends of ours and they want to make a bull skit with us, they're like, "You should do one like this. You should do a sequel to this. You should do that." And like, they usually have awesome ideas, but a lot of times they are not just starting and doing. They're like, "We should someday.
Yeah.
Someday." Or let's put our feet up on the desk and daydream about what it would be like if we were famous.
Oh, I can't do that.
It just drives me wild.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
can't-
like, you're insane. Just do it. It takes
Yeah.
5 minutes.
I mean,
Like,
Colin, the reason I'm so drawn to him is just because he's so hardworking and he's such a go-getter and he does stuff. He says he's going to do something and he does it.
Yeah.
But even he has to say, you've been in front of this computer literally for the past 4 days. Sit down and watch a TV show. Like, relax. Enjoy life.
Well, that's good too. 'cause that's
Yeah,
up to you.
yeah. I mean, it's and it's fun if you enjoy it too. It's easy to get lost doing it, but yeah, I think that there's something to be said about. I honestly think that it's just because like I just have to work hard, because if I don't work hard at this, I haven't put in nearly as much time into anything else. I wouldn't even be good at it. You know,
No,
it's what
I
I'm.
got
It's
you.
what I enjoy,
Yeah.
and it's what I'm good at.
And so then keeping in mind, because you hit a couple nails on the head with me, because though you're a few years younger than me, it seems like you grew up with a lot of the same good things that I liked. Like, I loved, for real, I'm not like joking, like me and my friend Peppy, we loved the Spice Girls. We got all the records. We went to see the movie. We loved Alanis Morissette, definitely. What would you say if you had to choose? Would it go as far as choosing a Spice Girl song if you were alone on an island with one song the rest of your life?
I was thinking about that when you were talking to Colin
Yeah.
about that, and it would probably be. I don't know. I don't know if it would be a Spice Girls song. It might need to be something like an Alanis Morissette song, because the lyrics are what would give me something to think about. You know what I mean? It
I
would
thought
keep
for
my
sure you were
mind
going to go
occupied.
crazier than that. Like, it's funny that you're so focused on those two. Like, I thought you were going to be like, hey, Spice Girls are great, but I need Mozart for that. You're like, but I need Alanis Morissette.
No, I think that I would probably go with an Alanis that I Would Be Good, probably, by Alanis Morissette.
That's a nice song.
I actually have it tattooed on my arm. It says that I would be good.
Nice. Is
Because
that
if
a
I-
second album?
That's it's not on Jagged Little Pill. It's
No.
the one after she like went to India and had an
Yes.
awakening. Yes, maybe.
Well, I'm calling it
Once
the
she
second,
made-
but whatever that
Once
album
she
is,
made
yeah.
peace with her demons.
Thank You,
Yeah.
or whatever it is. Right? Is it called Thank You? Well, the song Thank You's on there.
Yes, I think it's that record.
That's a good album.
I love it so much. And it's, I think if I was, what, Colin?
Oh, it's a former infatuation junkie.
Thank
That's
you,
it.
that's
Supposed
it,
former
yeah.
infatuation junkie.
Yeah, so that,
That would be good as a good song.
and
Yeah,
you
you're
know
right.
what? I think that if you're stuck on a desert island and everything is going wrong, that song would remind you that you're still alive and it's not that bad. You know?
Mhm.
I think that song is the song that gets me through all the hard stuff, like the really hard stuff. And then I think that I would probably just make my own music from then on.
I think yours is the most similar to my choice. This is a song that that unfortunately hasn't been heard by a ton of people, but it's on a relatively popular record called The Sunset Tree by a band, The Mountain Goats.
Okay.
And it's called Broom People, but it's like I would be good in that it's definitely a song you put on when you're having a bad day or something.
Yeah.
It's definitely like that, and I definitely chose that for the same kind of reasons. Like it was
Yeah.
like it's a simple couple chords, and maybe that's wrong. Maybe I'd hate it after a few weeks, but like it's just so much better than something too
I
complicated.
feel like those types of songs go from being songs to, if you were honestly stuck on a desert island by yourself, it would become like a prayer or like
Yes.
something that just would help you refocus so you didn't like off yourself or something.
And you don't have to hear it all the time. It's not that it's playing constantly, so it could definitely be something that turns into a shrine where you're like,
Yeah.
okay,
Can't
I need
find
this
any
now.
coconuts, yeah.
It's nighttime. I can't get the fire happening, and you fed the rest of your life by something. I don't know the scenario, what I'm making up from the scenario, but yeah, you're like, but yeah, that's a good answer. Okay, then secondly, treating Alanis Morissette as something. It doesn't have to be Alanis Morissette anymore, but speaking of something that you would take it to a spiritual level, what would you describe yourself as religiously?
I was brought up. Okay, I will say that Alanis Morissette is my. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I was brought up. I went to a Catholic elementary school, up through 6th grade, and I loved it, and I had a wonderful time. They were all really sweet. I know a lot of people have scary Catholic school stories. Mine was wonderful. I loved it. But then, during my parents' divorce, my mom started taking us to like one of the non-denominational type churches. I didn't have a bad experience with it. I made a lot of really good friends. But we were really there were some people that really took advantage of my mom. And so I don't have, and it was in the name of God is why it bothered me so much. You know what I mean? It was like they would use the Bible against her to make it seem like she was doing, it was really like an abusive relationship type of thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have to be more on the Buddhist side too, where it's just like treat people nice and don't be a dick. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot. I was brought up Catholic and Christian, and so that's always where my mind goes to first, but it's not at all, because most of the people that have hurt me in my life have actually been Catholic or Christian. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it
I feel
actually was the
like-
total opposite for me. I was brought up all Buddhist, and then when I got into adulthood, I was like, I'm a Catholic, you're going to hell. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Yeah, totally.
Like you never hear it the other way around.
I
was just
know.
joking. Sorry,
I know.
go on.
No, that's about it. Like,
Yeah. No, you're right. It's always with the more open religions as you
and
get older.
it's
Yeah.
it's always so based on your experiences and what you've been through and personally.
But that's an Ohio experience. That's what happens.
Yeah. My family has been through the ringer as far as people being nice or not nice and taking advantage or You know what I mean? And it made me just want to not surround myself with people that are going to sell me one thing and act another way.
And this was all through the veil of like religion in most
which
cases.
is really and that's that really rubbed me the wrong way. And so like just like Khalid said, I love religion and I have such happy memories of going to mass and like it was fun and we got to get out of class and all of this stuff, and our priest would take us to like Geneva on the lake for the day and it was always really fun. I really enjoyed it. But I think at this point in my life, I'm just trying to be content with what I have and work hard and keep my head down and like and appreciate life and be nice to people. And, you know.
Yeah. And I like that, by the way, I do like that that in most cases when I ask you whether it's spirituality or music, you talk about work. Because I've kind of had it with people who are like, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. And I'm always like, no.
You need money.
No. With all things, even if you're really doing well, it's tons of work for a little bit of really nice gold nugget of little tiny payoff. It's never like, no matter who you are, even if you're Baby Spice in her heyday.
Yeah.
You know, like, even then, I'm sure, people just don't see it. They're just like, they don't realize it's just over and over and over again, doing a lot of repetitive things, hard work, and keeping your head down in order for, like, one or two really great shows once in a while, one or two good, like, publicity like, moments, like, even with, like, when people have this lots of money.
Yeah.
Like, it is work.
Yeah.
It is work.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I agree with you completely. And I think that, where was I saying? I think my train of thought has left the station.
Well, you started saying you worked hard to you said you worked hard with music, but then you were saying that you worked hard as far as just like accepting religion and working hard to like be nice to people.
Yeah. I just think it's unnecessary to be a jerk to somebody or to make them think that what they're doing is wrong. I mean, people feel the way that they feel because of their experiences, and as long as you understand where they're coming from, and then you know that not everybody is your enemy. A lot of people have problems and their, you know, lives led them other places and things like that, but you know, if it comes to a point where, you know, someone's being a jerk to you, turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
Jesus said that, but also you should just do that because, like,
it's all about the. Like,
it's your outlook. Yeah, just like be a positive force in the world. Don't drag everyone down. You know.
It's not because you'll get 72 virgins after you die, or you'll get something Kingdom of Heaven.
It's just because it's not.
It just feels better.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
To be mean to people.
I heard somebody say in this other podcast, I listened to, of all things, I listened to this thing called Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. It's a podcast, and it's so weird because I'm not a super fan of the movies of Kevin Smith. He's okay, it's cool, and he's cool. And there's nothing I don't like. He's great, but you know I didn't grow up as a super fan. But when you take him into just this world of like radio podcast, it's crazy. They do this stuff where they check in on Jason Mewes, who played Jay, on his sobriety. He's been sober for 4 years, and it's all been because of this podcast. He keeps telling it how many days he's sober, and then they tell like wacky sex stories of him when he was single, or they tell like weird, scary, cautionary drug tales of him when he was at his worst. And one of the things they said, that Kevin Smith said, he said that the reward is in the process. And it's kind of what you're saying about turning the other cheek. It's that the reward isn't in heaven years later. It's in exactly when you're doing it. Like being nice to somebody basically is an instant reward to them, you, everybody. Yeah. And it does seem like the reward is in the process, whether you're getting sober, whether you're making music, whether you're just waving to somebody and being nice to them on a day instead of flipping them off if they cut you off. And everyone wants to be nice. Not all of us live up to it all the time, but we all know it's
You gotta
right.
try,
Yeah.
though, yeah.
Yeah, we all know it's right. But keeping in that mindset, then if you apply that to the culture around here, what is it that you think about Ohio? Like, how do you sum it up to, like, outsiders?
We were just in California in November, and a lot of people would ask us what growing up in Ohio was like as musicians. Like, oh, bet there's no scene there, and things like that, because they had never heard of it. And I always say that it's the perfect place for me to do what I do, because I never like to get into things before I don't want to fall on my face. And I feel like Youngstown is in a lot of ways really great training wheels, and like it's a good support system in a really weird way, because when I first started playing the guitar, there were probably 2 years that I played out for 4 nights a week, 3 nights a week. I was playing out a lot, and they were at open mics at the Lemon Grove, or they were, you know, here and there, wherever I could play to just sharpen my chops.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people would be there, and I'd make a lot of new friends, and it'd be great. And sometimes you would play, and you would do a really great job, and nobody would look up from their glass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then sometimes you'd play a horrible set, and everyone would laugh at you or something, like, because they were paying attention.
Mm.
It keeps you on your toes, and it sometimes it feels like people don't care one way or the other if you are bad or good, so you can just experiment, and it's really freeing. You know, you can mess around and not feel like people are going to care.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when you're in that moment, it feels like they're not going to judge me, but that's because like they're on a date and you're interrupting them with your music.
Totally, yeah, right.
But I think that that's a really great place. I unfortunately don't think it's easy for me to play a live show right now with my K808s stuff. I haven't quite figured that out, how I'm going to do that.
That's more of a big setup. It's harder.
Yeah,
to
that's
yeah.
yeah, it's a weird setup, but that's why I really like our Wren Rooster stuff too, is so we can play our live shows and get that out of our
That
system
one you can
too.
just play on a street corner.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're right. Yeah, it does seem like, I think that you could get away with the K808 laptop and just you thing if there was other stuff thrown in the mix. I think it would totally be
I
acceptable.
think it would be acceptable, but I don't know if I want to go with acceptable.
I understand if you want like a drummer just to add
Yeah,
that little soul into it.
we played one show. I played one
Right,
K808
Pittsburgh.
show, and it was in Pittsburgh. And we played with tracks, but we also had a bass player, 2 backup singers, a guitar player, a drummer, and keyboard,
Right.
and me.
Right.
And it was crazy. And if it would have been anywhere else, it was really hard. I mean, we couldn't quite hear ourselves and things like that, and luckily there was a track to hold us together, and it was a good show, and it was fun.
Right.
I think that Cedar's sound is awesome, so I think it would be really cool there, but
Yeah.
I just don't know. It would be such an effort that I would need to know that people would show up. You know
Yeah,
what I
no,
mean?
I
and
definitely-
that's a hard thing in
yeah.
Youngstown. It really depends on the climate of the week, whether people will come out or not.
Yeah, I talked to, we had, for our CD release show, we had a guy, Ryan Blakeman, come out and play, and he played acoustic, and he has a band, and they are like 6 or 7 people, and so it's rough for him because he's like, you know, he's like, most people know me from that. He kind of created his own solo page just because we were like, hey, it's Ryan Blakeman.
Yeah.
And I was like, sorry, did I like miss something? Should I have asked your like band? And he was like, no. He's like, we need to see like a check before we can go, like, he's like, we would need to see the money first, unfortunately. He's like, we're all from different spots, different cities, and it's a large setup for us. He's like, I'm not acting like we're big and bad, but he was like, we need to know it's a show. Like, I understand that. You know, like, unfortunately, like, with acts that can downsize and simplify that they just do because
Yeah.
so they can play anywhere
Right.
and make those little odds and ends and stuff.
Yeah.
But with stuff like K808, which I know you could do with a laptop and maybe add some theatrics.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that you want like this backbeat and this spine to it with like people.
Yeah.
And so like that's a hard call, I understand.
Yeah, and I'm sure it'll happen.
Mm.
We just haven't quite figured it out yet. You
Plus,
know?
it's the kind of music that can very much so be interactive and live online and stuff too. It's
Yeah.
much more like our friend Icarus Flew, who I interviewed.
Yeah.
Because he makes just electronic music is synonymous with like internet attitude more.
Yeah.
And you got a relatively young audience, I imagine. I feel stuck in a place as like a 31-year-old who plays in an indie rock band that, though we love playing shows, that we're really nothing without the live interaction with people.
Yeah.
And I'd love to have a bigger internet presence and be able to like, just put up like, here's a podcast of a live show in our basement, or here's
Yeah.
here's an interactive thing and we're doing stuff, but it's more, pre-recorded or this and that. So I kind of do like that electronic music sometimes lends itself to like kind of what I saw Sleepy Time Jesse doing, or Jesse Martin.
Yeah.
All those people doing, they did like, what was that thing called? Desktop is Bay. They did like, it was called Desktop is Bay, and they did this Facebook event where you said, I'm coming to this show. But what you were doing was opening a chat room and listening to someone DJ.
Yeah, I've
Which is
heard
cool.
of those. It's like
Yeah, it sounds like something you could kind of, it's like
That
if
would
there was
be
a
neat.
pop thing
Yeah.
of that, that would be a K808 thing.
yeah, like Concert Windows. I think a
Yes.
website that does things like that. Even I think Third Class would be great at that.
And I think we can do it, and I'm not
Yeah.
acting like we can't, and I don't want to be lazy, but I just love that, like, the internet presence is so thick now that it's time to look into stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
I
K808
feel
would
like
be a
I'm.
shoo-in.
I feel like I'm relearning the internet all over again.
Yeah.
I feel like it's hard to reach people on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, when we were in Pittsburgh and we were playing the K808 show at the Altar Bar, there was a packed house. We were opening
Yeah.
for Betty who's like opened for the Australian leg of Katy Perry. Like, she's awesome.
Cool.
And so she had a great turnout. And I didn't think anyone was enjoying the set because they were all looking at their phones. And every once in a while, like, they would clap for the songs and they would, sometimes they'd dance a little bit. But they were all on their phones the entire time. And I
Really?
was, so I got off stage and I was like, okay, well, maybe we weren't ready, I don't know. I get backstage, I look at my phone. I had said my name once or twice. There were like 30 Twitter messages, like tweets, that they were all on their phone, streaming the show, talking
Nice.
about my dress, talking about my shoes, saying I look like Gwen Stefani and Diana Agron, like all this stuff, saying, oh, she's adorable, I love this one song, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was cool.
That's
and I had
awesome.
never experienced anything like that, and I was like, whoa, kids today. I need to relearn the internet. I guess that's...
Dude, you are a shoo-in,
know?
though, aren't you? Like, you just played live, and you were a shoo-in to that world. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, you could do like a chat room show, or you could do a pod
that'd be
show,
fun.
and it wouldn't have to be a full band. It could be you masquerading as some sort of character or something, just like silly. And I'm not saying I know what's up, and I definitely don't know what the kids want all the time, but I like where you're going, and I know my friend Peppy in the band with me, he's just like, dude, he's like, isn't this just cool? Like, he's like, isn't it cool that she's doing like straight up like indie electronic pop like in Youngstown? I was like, you just don't see it very much here.
Yeah.
And you should see it more here. There's lots of hip hop, there's lots of electronic,
There's
like
lots
DJ
of
stuff.
hip hop and there's lots of,
Yeah.
but I think that the
But you
reason
don't
there's
see-
not is because there aren't any girls.
Yeah, you don't see
doing
the
it.
female lead unless they're like a guest vocal on a DJ track.
Right.
Which I that's why I think Pep was excited. 'Cause
Yeah.
He kind of keeps me up on good pop
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, and he keeps me going on stuff like that. And he knows he's not looking for a trend, but he knows what's like quality and what I like, and he's
Yeah.
like, check it out. So it's good, but okay, so if you come at Ohio from that standpoint, especially just looking at it like girls are the minority in music in small town Ohio, unfortunately, which I see more of emergence now finally. Like there's like that ukulele punk girl who does Human Petting Zoo. She was on our
Yeah,
EP.
she was on your your remix.
She's
thing.
really good. I actually straight up listened to her album, and then Shiloh, who does Blue Through Branches. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
Shiloh.
people that are definitely leads, but I can say that when we started, that we didn't see enough of it, or that it died off fast due to confidence, or
Yeah.
not because they were like, I'm a girl, I can't do it necessarily, but it was like there probably was a subconscious thing happening with a minority thing. It wasn't about that they were.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much about that they were a young girl with a guitar or anything. It was just they weren't like, because I'm a girl, I don't think. But there's just like this guys at all house shows acting like jerks and playing Beastie Boys and being guys, and nothing wrong with that. But it's maybe the same effect as if I was somewhere with a lot of girls and felt like I was like, do I know what am I doing? Am I the idiot here? It's like people just act that way, and it's too bad that that's the
and
reaction.
you are judged a little more brutally than if you were a guy.
Definitely, definitely.
And
it gets weird fast with people. People that like music and are artists aren't usually like that, but you're just saying that random person at an open mic or that random person, it just gets weird immediately.
Yeah.
With stuff
It
like
happens.
That. And people definitely do the thing where whenever I had the reverse, I would join in middle school. I'd join one or two small yearbook or like reading club things. I wasn't really like real active. I wasn't like a good like straight A person who did a lot, but some teachers would be like, you made a video one time for a book report. You're creative type. Come here.
Yeah.
Come be in our reading club. And I was the only guy. And they didn't say a thing to me. Maybe they giggled at me a couple times, but no one said anything mean. They were all nice, and I still felt insecure.
Yeah.
It's just the fact of being a minority that needs to be gotten over.
You put that on top of just being a creative type already.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
you probably heard me say to Colin. People just get weird. They're like, "Are you gay?" And as if that's a bad thing.
Yeah. I feel like creative people are sensitive already. That if you are a creative girl, there's a whole other can of worms that people like to open and dissect and think things about you, or
and they
or
flip
just
it
like
too. They flip it. Like if you're a guy in creative, you're effeminate, and if you're a girl in creative, you're like, you think you can produce? You think you can, like they turn it completely as if it's a masculine thing. Then it's like always the worst about them.
I know. People are assholes. Just be nice.
Like when you're a guy musician, you're like, oh, are you an artiste? Are you?
Yeah.
And what? You know how to play football? And with a girl, they're like, you think you got the chops, honey?
Yeah. When Colin comes over for Christmas to my dad's house, he asked me what a Tebow was one time, and I melted. It's like they're speaking a different language, and we just don't understand, and so we get really insecure over there sometimes too, because it's just like, I was at my sister's basketball game tonight, and she had like a free throw or something. She was shooting the ball, and she was supposed to shoot the ball twice, but she only shot it once, and then they called everyone in. And I asked my mom, I said, Mom, why did they cancel her basketball throw? They canceled it. And she goes, it's called a timeout. They called a timeout. It's like, you feel like a fish out of water sometimes when you're throwing around a bunch of people that are different than you. And if you're a girl in a room of guy musicians, you feel like you're being watched, because you are.
You kind of are. It melts away fast enough, and usually people are cool, but I know what you mean. Just initially, the first few moments, it gets weird. And it's funny, I'm not an expert. I'm not somebody that anyone would come to for advice as far as like financial success in music, but I do know that all those people you're speaking of that are at those basketball games, if any of us could get them as regulars at our shows, we'd made it.
I know.
That's the demographic. I mean, I'm not saying just them, but normal people that
Yeah.
just straight up aren't artists.
Yeah.
If they're at our shows, you just made it, man.
You totally
That's
made
like
all the money.
I'm not saying and I'm not saying that's the key, but I'm just saying that's Coldplay. It's when a lot of people think a band is okay and have their album, that's when they make money.
Yep.
If someone says K808, they're my favorite act, I'm really into them, then you're not making money. Because they're it's a niche audience. They're like, I like you. But if someone's like, all right, and it's
she's
like
good.
millions of dollars and you're
Yeah.
not, because U2 is okay, but they're no one's favorite band.
Yeah, that's true. I want to be someone's moderately
Someone's okay,
respected
yeah. But then again, I'm just saying that as a compliment to what you do, because if you aim for everyone, you get no one. But if you aim for, hey, I'm going to do some like pop music, and I'm just going to do it the way I actually want to, and I learned it my way. If you want to call it indie pop, cool, whatever. Then you get those tweets. You get those people that are like, I'm here for a band that is relatable to what K808 does. I'm hooked as a fan now.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think that the reason that my stuff sounds the way that it sounds is because I don't know enough about these programs to make it sound any other way than the way that I make it sound. I feel like if you listen to my songs, they all sound like the same person made them.
Say they want me, say they want me, say they want me, say they want me, say they want me. Say they want me, say they want me, say they want me, say they want me, say they want me. Look, do you know what you found? You found a face there in the crowd. You found me, you found me, you found me. And like a diamond in the rough, and then the heavens opened up, sparkling like the sea of Bombay. They want me, say they want me, say they want me, say they want me, say they want me. And I'll be your girl. Hold me close, let me go. I'll fall back into you, oh baby. Hold me close, let me go. I'll fall back into you, Bombay. They want me, say they want me.
I learn every day, but there's still so much I don't know about this, so I'm just going off of what I hear in my head. And that, like we were talking about even with the spiritual stuff, it's a product of what I grew up listening to, what I was listening to when I learned to write, what I want to listen to, you know, and what I'm hearing in my head. And what I'm hearing in my head is a product of what I've heard in the past. You know what I mean? So it's like really specific to just my life. So I feel like I want to get better as a writer and better as a producer and be the best K808 that I can be, because I wouldn't even know where to start to be a Kesha or like, you know what I mean?
Well, you say that, and I believe you that you're still learning, but just believe me when I say that, like, Worth Every Dime is a legitimate EP.
Thanks.
I mean, we were talking when you guys were looking at our vinyls, saying like, "Whoa, it's a real album now. You made
It's
it."
real,
And
you're
like,
famous.
that's how I felt when I heard that. I was like, this thing pops up on Spotify. It's a real playlist of good
on
pop music,
Spotify.
and it doesn't matter so much that it's on there. It's just that it's a real playlist of spot music that I'm really gonna put on while I'm at work and
Yeah.
listen to.
Cool.
You know, and
Yeah.
that's what's good about it. So then let me ask you one last tiny thing. What do you think when you hear the word nursery?
When I hear the word nursery,
Yeah.
well, I think of the podcast because we're listeners.
Good answer. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then can you say, "Look, Mom, we're on a podcast"?
Look, Mom, we're on a podcast.
That's our little sign out thing.
Aww.
Okay, thank you so much. That was
Thank
awesome.
you.
See you guys. Thanks for listening.
Ta-ta.